How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about CEI Camber Energy. Ended up making a strong move in the after hours. It did have a red day overall on the day, but we see that it closed at $1.51. So a lot of people are sending me messages. It is looking bullish, Dre. What is your analysis? And that's why I'm putting this video together for you guys. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance, those key levels, so we're prepared going into Monday. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for CEI Camber Energy. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $1.21, being down 4.72%. On the low, it tested $1.19, and then on the high, testing $1.27. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 65.149 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 69.791 million shares. So we did have just a little bit below the average volume, but one thing we have to take into consideration inside of the after hours, it ended up closing at $1.51. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 46.77. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here on our chart, you can see we are below the 50-day. We're also below the 21-day EMA, but we are above the 100-day and as well as the 200-day. So you see where it closed at $1.21. This is also an area of support that's been proven in the past for Camber. And like I was saying in the after hours, it actually getting to $1.50. It'll be very interesting to see if they can keep up these gains inside of the pre-market and going into the open. If it is able to do this, then of course I'm going to be looking forward to seeing us have some strength above the 50-day at 164 and then potentially make that move going to around $2. Like I said, it has to keep up the momentum that we saw inside of the after hours. If it decides to have a pullback in the morning, especially in regards to a morning dip, then of course I'm going to want to see some strength right here at the 21-day EMA at around $1.29. And if it decides to give up those gains fully that it made inside of the after hours, and if it happens inside of the pre-market, then I want to see a continuation of us holding up support here at $1.20. So for the most part, I'm really interested to see how Camber performs going into tomorrow and as well as for the rest of the week. But $2 I feel is very achievable here. And as far as if it decides to pull back, then of course we just want to see a continuation of more consistency in that area of support at $1.20. So let's see what happens. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for CEI. So we can see for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 34.09, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 6.45 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.4 million, updated 14 minutes ago, and then for the short ball free rate, it is at 4.46%. Taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 18th, it was at 53.15. And then for the close for the Friday that just passed, being at 34.09. So it has gone down quite a bit. So that's one thing you're going to want to take into consideration. But one thing that is clear, it still continues to have short squeeze potential, and is why you want to keep this play on your watches, especially with the move that we had inside of the after hours. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for CEI. So we can see here on the inflow, it was at 7,083. And then on the outflow, it was 6,462. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown even further, you see 2,767 on the large On the medium, we have 3,102. And then on the small, we have 1,214. When we take a look at the outflow side, it was 1,960 on the large. On the medium, it was 3,448. And then on the small, we had 1,054. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for the past 5 trading days, it was all inflows for the large scale order side. So this looks extremely bullish here. And then when we take a look at the breakdown, when we see what happened with the small scale orders, which tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, though, we ended up having more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, of course, since we just covered it, we had more buying than we had selling, and this could possibly be coming from institutions. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, though, it was at 26.11%. No shocker there, because there's a lot of traders that are going in and out of this play. I know there are some of you who are also holding shares as well, so you have to factor that into consideration. But one thing that is very clear, there's a lot of trading going on with CEI. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for CEI, the main thing that we need to look out for is they're going to be able to keep up this momentum in the pre-market. Like I said, it closed on the Friday in after hours at $1.51. I saw that it ended up reaching a high of $1.59. So if it's able to keep this momentum going into the open, I would love to see it staying above 150 at the most. If it does decide to pull back, which many stocks do at the open with profit taking and so forth, I'd want to see it continue to hold up strength. Either it might be at that $1.20 level or maybe around the $1.30s, because if it is able to do this, then I'm looking forward to seeing that test so we can get past that resistance at $1.50 and start moving up into the $1.60 range. And as far as for the overall week, I would love to see a move going to $2. But this is going to be dependent on volume. We need that coming through the play, a lot of that buying pressure, because when we went on Fintel, one thing that is very clear, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. So the moment the volume starts dying down, that's when the stock is going to begin to pull back. And these are one of the reasons why I tell you guys, you want to do your homework and do your due diligence before taking a position. You just don't want to jump into this play blindly without a game plan, because you will end up on the losing end, and it doesn't have to be that way. So pay attention to those areas of support, especially what I talked about inside of the technicals. And if you are going to be trading this, just make sure that you're using the right risk management. But for the most part, things do look good for CEI if it can continue to have that momentum like we saw on the Friday and after hours. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is very key. The moment it breaks through $1.20 and it starts going down below $1.19 and so forth, again, we've been consolidating in these particular type of areas, then you just got to wait, be more patient. And it's part of the reasons why I only treat this as an intraday play, and I don't believe in holding shares overnight. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.